be real. Keep it 100. Caitlin Clark has been on the receiving end of this sort of stuff way too much.
For years, Caitlin Clark's supporters have been asking the same question. Just how much worse can it get? How obvious do the fouls have to become before officials finally start calling them? Meanwhile, Clark gets whistled for the smallest things. Standing her ground, clapping her hands, or even ending up with a foul after taking an elbow from an opponent. Now, it feels like that question has finally been answered.
I called it that she would be targeted.
What Alyssa Thomas did to Caitlin Clark crossed a line that was impossible to ignore. This time, it wasn't just fans voicing their frustration online. Analysts, media personalities, and even Clark's own coach openly condemned the incident. Although the league eventually responded, something I'll cover shortly, the damage had already been done, as you'll see in today's world of viral clips and instant headlines. Moments like this can shape public perception overnight. Plus, unless the WNBA takes meaningful action, this controversy could leave a lasting mark on the league's reputation. Before we dive in, make sure to like the video and leave a heart in the comments if you're supporting Caitlin Clark. Now let's rewind to June 22. Heading into the matchup against the Mercury, Clark was playing some of the best basketball of her career. She had strung together multiple games with at least 20 points and 5 assists, ranked 3rd in the league in scoring, and sat 2nd in assists. Healthy once again, she was rapidly emerging as one of the leading MVP candidates. She accomplished all of that despite dealing with what many viewed as inconsistent officiating throughout her professional career. Fans repeatedly watched obvious contact against Clark go uncalled, while she was often penalized for far less. And during this game, the officiating only seemed to become even more controversial.
Position, but I mean, Caitlin Clark issued a technical foul. You hear the crowd react, and Clark is perplexed and shocked as to why she was assisted technical.
Clark first got tangled up with Dewana Bonner, a sequence that eventually led to the now well-known moment involving Sophie Cunningham. But that wasn't the end of the controversy. If you listen closely to the clip, you probably noticed that Caitlin Clark was assessed a technical foul during the exchange. The surprising part? The technical wasn't for the confrontation itself. It was reportedly issued simply because she clapped.
Up the tech tonight, 5th of the season.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I got a technical for clapping. So like if we should all just go on the calendar now and pick a game that I'm going to be suspended for if I'm going to get technicals for clapping. I asked Gerda. Gerda said that I got a technical for clapping. So if any technical should be taken away, it should be that one. If it's truly for clapping, that's what they said they gave it to me for was for clapping. So it's just ridiculous. I don't understand it at all.
That technical foul also remained on the books, even though the league had previously rescinded a similar one issued to Paige Buchers. And as controversial as that decision was, the events that followed were even worse.
Yo, AT tried to take Caitlin Clark out. Look at that elbow. Oh my.
Elbow extend from behind, and that's not gonna.
She tried to take her out with the elbow.
That was Alyssa Thomas driving an elbow into Caitlin Clark, an incident many believed should have been an obvious foul on its own. But what happened next is the moment that many fans are now calling one of the most shocking officiating decisions in sports history.
The illegal contact is initiated by Caitlin Clark. She comes across the arm, into the body and hips of Thomas.
After an official review, the call somehow went against Caitlin Clark, with the ruling claiming she had initiated the contact. So, within the same game, she was hit with a technical for clapping and charged with a foul after taking an elbow. That alone sparked plenty of outrage, but it also brought everyone back to the same question. Just how much worse could it get? At that point, Clark was putting together another outstanding performance, on track for around 20 points and 10 assists. Then everything changed with the next sequence. Did you catch that? Alyssa Thomas appeared to drive her fist down onto Caitlin Clark's neck during the play. But that wasn't the only point of concern. From another camera angle, the replay also seemed to show Thomas's knee making contact with Clark's groin. Despite both moments, no foul was called. Shortly afterward, Clark exited the game with back discomfort and never returned, leading many to wonder if the contact had played a role. Then there was another questionable closeout that added even more fuel to the controversy. At that point, fans were pointing to a punch to the neck, a knee to the groin, reckless closeouts, and an injury, all in one game, and the backlash exploded.
Whether it's from Kennedy Carter at the very beginning, or Marina Mabrey last year, or Alyssa Thomas today. Way too often she's been on the receiving end of this stuff, and she's getting called for fouls for having her arms straight up in the air and getting technicals for clapping. And then there was the closeouts, reckless closeouts, whatever you want to call them. And I posted earlier today, she's gonna get hurt. If this keeps up, she got hurt, back issue.
Fans and analysts weren't the only ones reacting, but what about the coach? During the game, Stephanie White remained relatively quiet. No one expected a fiery outburst, but many still hoped for a stronger response from the sidelines. Up to that point, some critics felt she had directed more frustration toward Caitlyn than toward the officiating. However, her comments after the game finally addressed the issue head on and reflected what many believed needed to be said.
How many times is Caitlyn Clark going to get cheap shotted by the same 3 or 4 players over and over and over and over again before the refs do anything about it?
Calling it unacceptable and egregious was a strong start, but what came next carried even more weight. For many, it felt like a turning point, perhaps a sign that the situation had finally reached its limit. She didn't just criticize the officiating. She also made it clear how valuable Caitlyn Clark is to the game, giving her the recognition many believed she deserved.
Number one, you gotta call it. It's absolutely egregious and utterly disrespectful.
Some believe she could have gone even further by calling Caitlyn Clark the face of the league and acknowledging the impact many fans credit her with having on the WNBA's growing popularity and financial success. Whether or not you view her comments as completely genuine, this time, she at least struck the right tone. More importantly, she echoed the frustration that has been building among fans, and for many supporters, words alone are no longer enough. Following widespread criticism, Alyssa Thomas received a 1-game suspension, but many Clark fans felt that punishment barely addressed the seriousness of the situation. To them, it looked like a minimal response from a league that had little choice but to act once the incident drew so much attention. In their view, the issue had been allowed to escalate for far too long.
We have a generational talent and a WNBA superstar who had 2 cheap shots right there that weren't called. And I just say again, absolutely unacceptable.
The damage has already been done. In an era driven by viral clips and unforgettable images, many Caitlyn Clark supporters and even casual sports fans are left with one defining moment. For many, the image of Alyssa Thomas making contact with Caitlyn Clark's neck has become a symbol of the controversy surrounding how Clark has been officiated and treated. In the minds of those fans, that single snapshot now represents a much larger debate about the league. It's the image many people immediately think of when discussing this chapter of Clark's WNBA career, and unless the league makes significant changes, particularly to its officiating standards and player protection policies, that perception may be difficult to change. Many believe that image will continue to resurface whenever there's a controversial no call, whenever commentators argue that Caitlyn Clark complains too much to officials, or whenever another overly physical play involving her sparks debate. For those fans, it serves as a lasting reminder of what can happen when smaller incidents are repeatedly allowed to go unchecked. If you've made it all the way to the end, drop a trophy emoji in the comments. You've earned it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.